Right, well, good morning, everybody. Sorry for the slight delay there. As I just said, the reminder this session is being recorded and will be posted on the IAB website. So if you don't wish to be seen on the screen, please turn your camera off. I have put everybody on mute, but please could you ensure you do remain on mute throughout the session. The chat will be monitored throughout, so any questions or anything, please do put them in there and we will get to you. So welcome to the March Coffee Morning. For those that don't know me, I think most of you do. My name's Samantha Grant. I'm a director at the IAB. We have a great full session today with 3 speakers, so one up from the usual 2. Our first speaker will be Lenny Barry from HMRC, who is a familiar face of the Coffee Morning. He'll be taking us through the latest MTD timeline and just making us aware of things that you could be doing to prepare for the pending MTD regulations. Jody Newman, again, a familiar face. He's our Professional Standards Director. He'll be providing a brief overview on the new requirements for Authorised Corporate Service Providers, or ACSPs in their abbreviation, and how they impact interaction with Companies House. It's obviously been quite well publicised in the media, so we just want to bring you up to date on those points. And also leaning into our practice scalability framework, Director David Taylor will be giving us an overview of marketing for sole traders. So this is an area that's often overlooked due to time and cost, and is becoming even more prevalent with the pressures on small businesses, your business in general. So it's a topic we're going to be focusing on quite a lot moving forward, and David's just going to be doing some of the highlights in this session. So both David and Jodie's topics will also be covered in more detail in the next edition of IAB Connect, which is out the first week of April. So obviously do ask questions, but there will be more detail coming out in the magazine in April. Housekeeping wise, thank you for those who purchased tickets for the IAB Empowerment Summit on the 13th of May. It's been a really good response so far, and there will be further opportunities to purchase tickets. I will also put the link in the chat once I've finished speaking, but do look out for emails and social posts for more opportunities to buy. Just to flag that at the minute, the event is only open to IAB members, so to prioritise your places. And just to give some background, it is designed to be an intimate, small, practical session. So it's really structured to help business planning. So great for kickstarting your Accountex exhibition, so you can get the most out of networking. Or if you're not going to Accountex, it's just great as a general business reset. So we will be talking about that in the run-up to the summit. And I've also had a request from membership regarding renewals, and it's a reminder that you still need to complete the renewal application form and update any details that have changed, and also provide a copy of your DBS dated within the last 6 months to ensure us to activate the membership for the next 12 months. So despite the payment being on subscription, we still do need to check your details to validate the membership, and you still need to fill in the form. So over to our speakers now. Excuse me. We have Lenny first, who I said is updating us on the MTD timeline. So Lenny, can I think you should be enabled to share your screen.
Okay, let me do that. Don't know what it's showing though.
Oh, is that your screen? Yeah, there you go. You just shared your Zoom screen, I think.
Yeah, but it wouldn't load the presentation. Let me do that again. That better?
Yes, we can see now.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks, Sam. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for letting me come and interrupt your coffee morning. As you know, my name's Lenny Barry. I work on the Making Tax Digital program, and I'm not going to give you a big presentation today because I want to give you the opportunity to ask any questions, seek any clarifications, but just to run through a few key things with you first. So where are we now? What do agents need to be doing? And I'm going to encourage you to get involved in testing. So is it going to happen? Yes, April 2026, Making Tax Digital for Income Tax will go live. We are good to go. The third-party software companies are catching up. We now have 16 products suitable for Making Tax Digital for Income Tax. Over 1 million people can join testing. I'll be honest, the two biggest blockers to coming into testing just now are time to pay or a compliance inquiry. That will be built before the end of year, and then everyone will be able to come in mandation in April 2026. One of the biggest things MTD brings is digital record keeping. And agents need to work out what is your plan for this to happen. So who is going to keep those digital records? Who's going to maintain them? Who is going to submit the quarterly updates? Is it going to be you? Now, some accountants say to me, I've trained for years, I'm highly qualified, I didn't do this to be a bookkeeper. And that's absolutely fine. But can you create a strategic alliance with bookkeepers so that your clients can receive that service? And there is also what is sometimes referred to as the nuclear option of the client could do their own digital record keeping. Now, not many agents say to me that that's a good idea because they're not bookkeepers, they're not accountants, and they will make stuff up and they will make mistakes. But it's a case of speak with the client, see what they need to do, make a decision, and start as early as possible. So in terms of using bookkeeping software or accounting software, both of those will be able to do the record keeping and the quarterly submission. Equally, a spreadsheet could be used, a spreadsheet and bridging software. And I know some accountants have said to me, if the client's going to do it, I'm going to give them an Excel template and say to them, if you sell something for your business, you fill in the yellow boxes. If you buy something, you fill in the green boxes, and all filled in, then that's a pretty good start. Fees. One of the other questions we get asked about is fees. I'm always amused when an accountant says to me, how much more do I have to charge? Because that's nothing really to do with HMRC. Yes, there is additional work involved, but probably not as some people think. So I was at an event in our regional centre in Leeds 2 weeks ago, and the deputy chairman, the deputy chief exec, works in the Leeds office. So she came down. We had 60 agents in the room, and she came to mingle at lunchtime, and she was dumbfounded when an agent said, I charge £400 for the self-assessment tax return, but with Making Tax Digital, I'll have to charge 5 times £400. Right. And they're basing this on some huge aren't correct. Yes, there will be an increase in work. Yes, there will be an increase in fees. But to put it into context, I was in a sole trader accountant in Northern Ireland last week, and I explained it to them, and they asked questions. I clarified some of the things that they'd heard or made up. And they said, well, it's not that bad, really. I said, no, but I'm still going to have to charge more. Yeah, that's fine. What would you be thinking about? And they said, oh, probably 15%. Whereas other accountants are saying to me, it's going to have to be 300%. So there's a massive gap in the actual knowledge and the understanding of what is actually involved. And that could be hugely detrimental to clients, to taxpayers, and also to your potential business model, because people, if someone went from £400 to £2,000, I'm pretty sure quite a lot of clients will go and seek other quotes elsewhere and move their business. So we will be sending letters to taxpayers, to your clients. We're actually sending them out from April this year. So that's based on the best information that we've got. If they are, I think we sent it out if they have an income from self-employment and or property of 48,000. So with inflation and whatever else, they may be in 50,000 by April 26. So we're sending them a letter to say, all things being equal, if your business doesn't go down, you are likely to be in Making Tax Digital from April 2026. Please think about getting ready. Please speak to your agent or anyone who's advising you on your business, and we will confirm for absolute certainty whether you're in or not in February 2026. So the 24-25 tax year is the confirmation year. And of course, those tax returns are due 31st of January 2026. But to write to someone in February 26 to say you need to be doing something by April is a little bit of a tight timescale, which is why we will be sending these letters in April 25 to those taxpayers to get them to start thinking about it. And equally, with the other cohorts coming in, so the April 27, the above 30,000s, we will send them a letter a year in advance, confirm it in February 27. And as you will recall, the budget confirmed that we will be extending the threshold down to £20,000 before the end of this Parliament. So either in 28 or 29, those above 20,000 will be coming into Making Tax Digital as well. So we hope that those letters will stimulate conversations and help the taxpayer and you to start thinking about getting ready. We are also sending letters to agents and emails to agents. The professional bodies are giving copies of the letters to put on their websites or newsletters. We really wanted to make sure that agents knew that these letters were going out, that you had that information in advance, and that you weren't caught on the hop when a client walks in or phones up and says, I've got this letter about Making Tax Digital, what's it all about? Because we know that you want to be subject matter experts in the eyes of your clients. Readiness steps, what can you do? I appreciate you never have any free time as such. It's always busy and it's trying to squeeze it in. But look to understand what the requirements are. So digital records is key. Quarterly submission of the categorized summaries of income and expenditure, and then a digital tax return at the end of the year. You may wish to do a client segmentation exercise so that you know who and how many will be coming into MTD in April 26 and April 27. You can look to sort out your software. So if you're currently using a software package, make sure that they will have an MTD for income tax version available. If not, when are they going to have one, or will you need to seek an alternative? Most agents, I think, have an agent services account. If you don't have one, if you submit VAT returns, you'll have an agent service account, and that's the agent service account you will use for Making Tax Digital for income tax. If you don't have an agent service account, I'd encourage you to go on to gov.uk and create one. It doesn't take long, and it's just one thing that's done and out of the way. You don't need to use it until you have a client into Making Tax Digital for income tax. And as I say, have a plan for digital record keeping and the quarterly updates. That will save a lot of headaches in the future. And engage with your clients, inform them, educate them, and support them. And on the back of that, we are here to help you. So if there's anything that we can do to help you inform, educate, and support your clients, please let me know. Tell Sam and she'll pass it on. And if there is something that we can do, we will certainly do all we can to help. And it's just that it might be a little bit of a twee message, but we're all in this together. This is self-assessment. This is our tax. Making tax digital is our process. I understand you may have reservations. You may not like it, but that's what it is. That's what's going to happen. The legal basis has been set, and we just want to make sure we can try to help people overcome any hurdles and make sure they can get prepared and help their clients be in the right place to meet their obligations. And that's me. More than happy to take any questions or clarify anything.
Thanks,
That's great.
Lenny.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Sam.
Sarah. No, it's fine. You go.
Can I read the questions? I haven't been on the Coffee Morning for ages.
Yes, of course you can. Please feel free.
And first and foremost, I will say thank you very much to Lenny. And I know there's been some pushback in general from the accounting world about MTD being introduced, but I think there's an alternative view, and I think HMRC have just given us a new revenue stream. So in a roundabout way, thank you. And also, I have to say, any interactions we've had with HMRC regarding MTD has been really positive, and Lenny has been an absolute superstar. In fact, we exchange emails up to 10, 11 o'clock at night sometimes, don't we? So I have to say there's real commitment from HMRC, and yeah, there is a lot of support. But I think some of the decisions will fall to your own business decisions and how you want to price and how you want to manage the process. Right, let's have a look at the chat. So there's a few questions coming in. There's one question about clarity on the thresholds. So there's a question here from Michael saying, is that a £50,000 profit for ITSA?
So it's turnover, it's gross, it's not profit.
Yes, I agree. Right, Karen says, have we seen any bridging software released as yet?
Yes, bridging products are available now. You can find them on the gov.uk MTD software choices page. 16 products are there, ranging from full packages to bridging software.
Thank you. Tracy's commenting that she's undercharging. I should imagine that's probably, well, this is an opportunity, I think, for everyone to reset prices. But again, market will correct. You know, clients will either accept or won't. So I think the market will correct what will actually be the the end point for what we can all charge. Tracy says, won't this be similar to doing VAT returns?
In a way, yes. I mean, if you've got a self-employed client who is also VAT registered, then pretty much the records are already done, and you would just submit your VAT return, and then you would submit the digital records for self-assessment. So it's two for the price of one if they're VAT registered. Now, the VAT registrations are probably about 1.2 million. Self-assessment, there are 12 million, so there will be some overlap, but not everyone will be in that fortuitous position.
Okay, thank you. There's some good stats. Any news on when partnerships will be included on MTD? It's
tomorrow.
Oh.
No. We need to get MTD in. We need to embed it. We need to show that it works and it does what it says on the tin. We've been given the additional task of the 20,000s coming in. I would probably say that we need to get the 20,000s in because they will be the most challenging of the 3 cohorts. And then we would look to bring in partnerships. So few years away. We haven't started, so it's going to be at least 3 years.
Okay, thank you. Can the agents do this for clients, as most of my clients are small businesses?
Yeah, of course they can. Yeah.
Sorry, not jumping the gun with software yet. Fell into that trap in 2019 and it all changed when the MTD was released. Okay, I think we're kind of at the point where it's confirmed now, isn't it? There'll be no further changes, Lenny.
Yeah, no, we're all good to go. One point to make about software, the VAT return was really simple, and there are nearly 800 products for MTD VAT, but income tax is far more complicated. And as I say, today we have 16 products, and I think by April 26, we might have 25. There's nowhere near the volume that there was for VAT. So if a client or an agent thinks, oh, I've got MTD software for VAT, you need to make sure that it will be compatible with income tax, because 700 and something of them won't be, and they won't be upgraded for MTD for income tax because they're not building it.
Okay, thank you. So we've got a few software questions now. Will HMRC provide free software for this purpose?
No, is the short answer. We are not software developers. We don't have the customer service model to support a software provision. However, we have lobbied and continue to lobby, and the minister has lobbied the software industry to say that the government commitment from 2015 that there would be free software for those businesses with the simplest tax affairs will be met. Now, other software providers are available, but I know that Sage launched a free product for MTD for income tax last October. Software companies are commercial businesses, and we know that others will bring free software products to the market, but strangely, they want to try and sell it to people first. So if you are looking for a free product, I would probably suggest keep an eye out on the market, look to see what's coming, and I would think probably 26, there'll be a lot more free products.
Thank you. Another software question. My software provider is offering a pilot scheme for MTD, but says if there is more than one sole trader income source, each one must have a separate license. Anyone else seen the same? And this is a QuickBooks example.
Yes. Unfortunately, we can't regulate what the software providers do. We would much prefer, if you are, I don't know, if you're a self-employed plumber, but you're also an electrician, so you've got two trades, we would suggest that they could combine that and send it in. But the software companies are saying, no, that's not how their business model works, which is disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. What is the time frame for HMRC issuing agent codes for self-assessment? I've written in twice and not heard anything, and no telephone line to contact.
I wouldn't want to give you an answer because I don't know.
No, it's slightly, yeah, the agent department, isn't it, rather than yourself? Will the VAT software incorporate the VAT MTD software? That's a different question.
MTD VAT software will not incorporate MTD for income tax unless it's one of the existing 16 to 25 companies. So the big ones like Xero, QuickBooks, Sage, Iris, they will all have integrated products and they will cover VAT and income tax. But the standalone MTD VAT products, as I say, the overwhelming majority of them will not be upgraded to income tax.
Okay. How will HMRC cope with the influx of submissions and then compliance checks when they cannot cope now? Even the simple bits of the agent line have got worse post-COVID, either getting through or there is not being enough trained staff. So I suppose the first part of the question is relevant.
Well, I can do both. So how will we cope with an influx of submissions? That's what Making Tax Digital does. It's all automated. We take it in and we will process it, and that's fine. In terms of the phone lines, yes, our performance on the helplines was not where we wanted it to be. Last summer, we were given £71 million to improve that service. We recruited staff, we trained staff, we started to deploy them from September, and from October onwards, we hit our service standard, which is 85%. So we were hitting that since October. We still want to do better. One of the big pluses of coming into testing from April 2025 is that you and your clients would, if you come into testing, you will receive a gold service from our customer support team. We have a dedicated customer support team, 30 colleagues sitting in Glasgow who brought in MTD VAT, who are all fully trained self-assessment helpline colleagues. They will be there to help you answer any MTD query, progress any issues that you've identified, speak to the software developers, speak to our builders, and get the problems resolved. And as a slight Brucey bonus, if you're in the testing program, they will also be able to help you with any personal tax query in relation to that client.
Okay, thank you. Right, I know we're conscious with time. There's a couple more questions here which I think are relevant. So what if the client forgets to inform about the expense in the first quarter and informs in the third quarter? So that's really about filing in a later quarter.
Yep, that's fine. You know, we have to be realistic. We would love everything to be perfect, but it's not going to be. People are going to lose receipts. They're going to forget things down the back of the sofa, whatever. But we have listened to the lobby from the professional bodies, the IAB and others, said that the original plan of you had to file everything in the quarter that it was incurred meant that you'd have to go back in and change it and update it. So we listened and we accepted the view that we should make it cumulative like VAT. So if you have done your quarter one submission and you find something that should have been in quarter one, you just include it in a subsequent quarter.
Okay, thank you. Will submission dates for ITSA be able to be aligned with VAT dates, or are they fixed? I'm assuming we can move VAT and not.
So VAT is date agnostic. You have a stagger. Sadly, income tax is based around the tax year. And of course, why wouldn't you have a tax year that starts on the 6th of April and runs to the 5th? How helpful is that? You can have a calendar quarter election, so you can go 31st of March. That's absolutely fine. If you wanted to move VAT stagger to align, then that's absolutely fine as well.
Okay, right. That's some of the questions. A few more questions, but they're on a similar thing. I think we probably need to close this part of the coffee morning and move back to Sam. But thank you so much, Lenny. That's been super helpful.
No problems.
Thank you very much, Lenny.
All right, take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Right, over to Jodie now, please. Talk about ACSP. Thanks, Jodie. Oh, you're on mute, Jodie.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Talking away to myself for ages then. Thanks. Yes, this is a real whistle-stop update on the next stage of the Companies House reform programme. I think most people are probably aware that Companies House is currently in the process of a multi-year reform programme, having started in March 24. The reform really is designed to clean up that public register verify all of the existing content and remove anything that's inaccurate or misleading, and then ensure that in the future its use is legitimate and it can be a trusted source rather than as currently is. So everything that I mentioned here, you can find the full details of dates, requirements, stages, the timelines, and so on and so forth on the Companies House Reform web page. And they've got dedicated blogs, video guides, the timelines and everything there. So Sam, I'm sure we've got all of those links going out in newsletters and information. I know we've been flagging it for quite some time, but there's also another piece in the magazine, as you mentioned. Really, the next piece, though, to flag is the area that they're entering now around identity verification. And ID verification is going to be introduced, as with a number of these sections, in a phased approach. You can have a look on the website to see when all those deadlines are coming. But in time, the identity of every individual who's named on the Companies House register and every individual who's permitted to upload information onto the register will need to be verified. So it's totally different to how it is now or has been in the past. For our members, this means effectively two things. One, that if you provide services to clients where you act on behalf of their company in interacting with the register, your identity will need to be verified with Companies House. And secondly, if you've got any incorporated clients who are on the register, have their businesses or their details on the register, they will need to have their ID verified by Companies House or with Companies House. And they can do that in one of two ways. They can either do that themselves, as it says there, through their Gov UK One login, or through a registered ACSP. There's a new acronym because we're short of those. ACSP is standing for Authorised Corporate Service Provider, and that potentially could be you as a member, and you can do that for them. So the ACSP, if you wish to register as an ACSP in order to verify identities, you need to register directly with Companies House. This is not something you come to the IAB for. It's with Companies House directly. They've got a range of requirements, but one of the key things is that you must be supervised under the money laundering regulations. So there's a number of professions that will be able to do this. Accountants who are supervised are one of them. So you must be supervised either by the IAB or another AML supervisor. You'll need to register, as I say, directly with Companies House, not with the IAB, and you'll need to pay a fee to Companies House in order to do that. I think it's somewhere around the £50 mark, and provide them with a range of information for registration. Part of that will be your relevant supervisor identifier. So they'll ask you who your supervisor is, and if it's the IAB who's your supervisor, you need to provide them with your membership number, so your IAB membership number, and that's so that they can verify that you have live supervision with us. So they will reach out to us, check that you're supervised and that your supervision is live, and then they will continue to go down their process to register you. It does require ongoing live supervision, so we have a data sharing agreement to make sure that, with Companies House, to make sure that we can advise them when people fall off of our supervised register or join it, and that means that they can remove people as ACSPs if you fall off of supervision. There are legal requirements of being an authorised agent, and they're all set out in full by Companies House on their website. They do differ from the specifics of IAB membership requirements and the money laundering regulation requirements, particularly when you look around what you have to do for the ID check process and then the retention of evidence that you gather. So it's really important that you understand what this service does. It is not a complete copy and paste of your duties under the MLRs. If you have clients there, it will be a little bit like the Register of Overseas Entities, something that you have to be MLR supervised for, but it isn't the same. So it's really important you understand what the obligations are. Slightly ahead. It's important also, Companies House is the one is the organisation that will be responsible for the compliance of your work as an authorised agent. And there are, as with other things, consequences if you fail to comply with that. As it outlines, they can issue fines or criminal prosecutions, and they may also decide that it's relevant to refer back to professional bodies for potential disciplinary activity if there's misuse of provision as an agent. So there are a few risks associated with this work if you do decide to go down there. Chiefly, I suppose, initially, the register is being overhauled at the moment, and much of it's being made around the reliability of that register once that reform is concluded. So if an ACSP doesn't correctly verify that data, it's going to weaken that overall process. Currently, I think most people understand that the Companies House Register is not a particularly trustworthy source. However, post-reform, that should be the polar opposite, and it should be a pretty trusted source if all goes to way. So if ACSPs don't act properly, then there's going to be false weight to the data that's on there. Why that's important for you if you're deciding to go down that route is that you need to consider those that are already on or wish to be on the register illegitimately for the purpose of criminality and enabling the underlying issues that creates. They're going to be looking for ways to either maintain their position on the register or force their way onto it without correct verification, either through fraudulent documents, processes not being conducted properly, and maintain their position there. So they'll probably be looking to use ACSPs that have got weak processes or have not got the capability or capacity to effectively verify that identity and give false verification. So for our members, we need to suggest that you reject any work if you're not able to satisfactorily complete that. If you've got identities where you're not confident that you have the expertise in order to complete the verification, consider rejecting that specific piece of work, or use resources like Prado, which we've got linked in our risk register, risk library within the members site. That's the public register of authentic identity and travel documents online. But basically, you can use this also for a whole range of different things, but it's got a list of a lot of the EU countries' passports, driver's licenses, ID documents. It shows you what a legitimate document looks like from that government, from that entity's government, and how you can identify that. So it's particularly useful if you're getting clients or individuals who you need to verify from overseas and you don't know what a document from that country looks like. Rather than just take it on face value, pop onto Prado, see if that country is on there and that document's on there, and it's much more likely that you'll be able to spot a fraudulent version or one that's out of date or not in line with that. The key thing, though, is that the gain from fraudulently verifying an individual is going to be much greater, because post-reform, if they're on the register, it's basically going to be taken as legitimate because it's gone through these checks. So because of that, we are aware of some criminals who have been sending out phishing emails. Most likely, if you can have a look on here, the email address up here, it's clearly not an HMRC email, but the content of it looks very much like it is one. Recently, there's been a spate of practices being contacted, trying to get hold of various details of the practice. Most likely, that's in order so that a legitimate practice can be spoofed in order to provide false verifications, and that's in line with this ACSP work. So beware if you receive any emails that are from HMRC or appear to be from HMRC. They must come from hmrc.gov.uk as a web address. Always check the underlying email address, because they look very realistic, but they're probably trying to get your details for some kind of nefarious reason. And that's it really from me. So I haven't been looking to see if there's any questions, but I'll stop my...
There is a couple, Jodie, and I know Lenny's still frantically asking questions, but hold on a second, let me just get down the chat. I saw one before.
Sorry, there's one
Go back to the bottom.
Sorry, there's one I think is quite relevant. It says, do we need to wait for Companies House to request the ID verification, or does this need to be done ASAP?
Well, you don't have to do anything at the moment yourself. If you're not going to become an ACSP, then at the moment you don't need to do anything. But as I say, it's going to come in. The requirements are coming in stages. The open up of registration for those that are interested in becoming ACSPs was yesterday, so you can go online to Companies House and have a look at that. But the Companies House website will have all of the deadlines that you have to verify identities, and they're coming in across the next 12 months. But they're starting it off in waves, so it'll come first of all with new incorporations where you have to identify and verify identities. And as I say, it can be that your clients don't want to ask you to do that at all. They can do that directly themselves, but it may be something that you feel is beneficial for your service offering, I suppose, to do.
Okay. So have you seen the next one, or do you want me to go for the next one?
Can I do them?
Yes, of course. By all means, I've got too many controls at the minute, so go for
that's
it.
fine. I'll do the chat. So there's a question here from Yvette. What about those of us with UK clients but are not based in the UK? How are you supposed to file for our clients? I think the verification that you spoke about a minute ago, Jodie, would be useful to put in the chat shortly.
Yep, the Prado link is within the risk register in the members area, but I can link that here.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a look at in terms of verification requirements, you'd need to look at Companies House guidance, because it is them that set the obligations, and those are not controlled by the IAB or directly relevant to the MLRs. So as I say, it's a little bit like Register of Overseas Entities. If you want to do work that is MLR supervised required but isn't covered by the MLRs, then you have to be aware that there's different obligations set by those different entities that you register with.
Okay, again, this is like software question, but Tracy said, I use ID search services within Accountancy Manager. Is this sufficient? I tend to get passports and address confirmation too, but don't know if that's overkill.
Sorry, for me, as I say, the guidance is within. It's a bit of a cop out, I know. The guidance is specific to Companies House. If you're interested in doing this work, I would say the recommendation from me is to go onto Companies House. They've got very easy pages to go through and look at what the obligations you have there, because the process that you go through may be one that fits in very neatly with the current process that you have onboarding your clients, or it might be that you need to do other work, and that is not something that you're interested, because it's a greater level of work for you without the reward. Sorry, I was looking when that question was being read about software. I thought it was going to be for someone else, but I've got the link to Prado that I'm just putting in here.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, just to reiterate Jodie's point, this is the IAB flagging this as a new request from Companies House. So there's absolutely no obligation for you. This is a choice for you whether you want to become an ACSP registered agent or not. We're just flagging here that this is changes that are going on in our world as such. So thank you.
Okay.
Back to you, Sam.
Thank you. Now, finally, I'm going to hand over to David, who is going to talk about marketing. David, over to you.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Always good to be on Coffee Morning, and I hope I've got some exciting, simple things that you can put into practice very, very quickly. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen with you. That is all right. Okay, so as you all know, we are very much working around our framework model, and today we are concentrating really on stage 2, quadrant 2, which is your successful practice. Now you've got two really directions you could go in, and these will really influence the marketing you do, to be honest. And what I'm going to talk to you about is whether you want to remain just as a successful practice, or in fact that you are looking to grow. Now, clearly, if you're looking to grow, you're going to have to do a whole lot more marketing than if you simply just wanted to stay where you were. So I'm going to try and balance both of those issues. So we've got 6 issues I'm going to talk to you about, and some of them might be slightly surprising. So I'm going to kick off. So number 1 is, who are you? You've got to figure out exactly who you are. What is your own proposition? Now, you are 90, all of you, you are all 90% of your brand. People buy you and buy your services. So it's really important to understand exactly what it is that you offer as a professional finance person. And that really is the basis of all your marketing and all the content you're going to do. What is that which differentiates you from other people in your sector and in your area? And if you could nail that, that is a long way to going to sorting out your marketing. The second one is, don't be the invisible man. The important thing is visibility online. Whether you are looking to stand still and maintain your existing practice, or whether you are looking to grow your practice. So there are 3 elements here which are really, really important. The first thing is, have a really, really excellent Google business profile. It really is vital now. If you've got a good business profile, it will help people find you, it will help people rate you, it will help people understand what services you offer, and it will return a very good amount of investment for the time that you invest within it. Second thing, of course, is a website. Your website must be very simple, easy to use, and ultimately, for 99% of you, your website is going to be a conversion tool rather than a lead generation tool. So what you want to be able to do is put enough information that people can say, yes, this is the bookkeeper or the accountant that I would like to use. I'm going to use them. And then the third element here is, regardless of whether you're looking to maintain or grow, is you need to have a rock star level LinkedIn profile, because people buy people, and the more you can put on your LinkedIn profile, the better. You may or may not have lots and lots of views about what LinkedIn is or isn't at the moment, but ultimately your LinkedIn profile is like a supercharged business card, and the amount of information you can put on that LinkedIn profile is vast for a total cost of nothing. And yes, you don't need to pay for LinkedIn unless you are specifically looking to grow your practice. Third one, and this is one where I'm going to say something quite controversial now, is you need to fish where the fish are. So you've got to figure out where it is that your clients are. Now, social media may not be the place to find your clients for the first time in 16 years, and bearing in mind, I've written books on social media for business and I've trained social media for business. But recently, for the first time in 16 years, I've been advising clients not to use social media because it will not deliver them more business. That's not to say that any of you should desert social media, but it's ultimately understanding if a lot of your clients aren't really using social media and you're spending hours on Instagram or Facebook chatting to people and engaging, is it really actually going to get you any new clients? So if you need to network. If you need to put flyers out or go into a local business center and leave your business cards, so be it. So again, the client I recently spoke to is an education center, and my advice was not to use social media. Bearing in mind that 60% of their clients were Muslim, I said, go to the 2 mosques in your area and create a flyer, because that's going to get you the clients. And that's a very good example of phishing where the fish are. Next one is be authentic, be fabulous. So content. Depending on what you want to do with your practice, you're going to have to create content whether you like it or not. Now, given that there is so much content out there, everyone is posting stuff about everything all the time. A lot of it is now AI generated, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you really want to stand out, then I'm not saying you need to be like the 2 ladies in Absolutely Fabulous, but you do need to be creating some form of authentic, i.e. real content. So that's where you're going to have to be potentially a little bit brave. Now, technology can massively help you. There are clever ways now of creating a video. So for example, you can upload an app onto your phone, which is a teleprompter app. You can create a little script, put it onto the teleprompter app, put your phone onto your desk, and then you just literally read off the teleprompter app. That could then become a very, very simple promo video, which then sits on your LinkedIn profile. It's a really, really good and free example of how you can create authentic content. Similarly, if you've got a website and there is a news section or a blog section, then I would certainly say use that, because the more you write, the more Google will reward you, and also the more people can then judge you on what you do and then decide whether they want to use you as a bookkeeper or an accountant. The 5th one should be an area where you should all feel comfortable, and there is an old maxim which is measure twice, cut once. So if you're doing marketing, if you're spending time networking, or you're on Facebook, or you like to use Instagram and LinkedIn, is it worth it? Is it doing anything? I can tell you from having looked at the analytics of a lot of companies, business owners are really shocked when they realize that they're getting no traffic to their website at all from social media. Now, that might not be a bad thing, because the social media might actually be a networking tool, and it might be a way to grow their visibility and grow their influence. But if you're doing any activity, be it a newsletter or having a website or using social media, figure out, is it working? Now, interestingly, and this is something I have spoken about to members before, this could even be a service that you end up offering to your own clients. It's called business data interpreting. You interpret their financial data, so there's no reason why you can't interpret their marketing data. But of course, ideally, you need to be doing your own first so you understand it. The final note then is, regardless of what you want to do with your practice, You've got to keep your name out there. You've got to be proactive. There's no point saying, I've got a very small practice. Everyone in the area knows who I am. That's not good enough, because there will always be some disruption. There will always be threats. There will always be competitors who can come in. And if your voice is not heard, then you start to become like the invisible man again. And much as I hate to admit it, I used to be part of BNI, which was a very useful way of setting up my business. And Ivan Meisner, who set up BNI, came up with a very useful phrase, which I'm going to end on today. And he came up with this phrase: visibility equals credibility equals profitability. So the more visible you are wherever you need to be visible, the more credible you become. And the more credible you become, the more likely you are to win, or in fact, keep your existing clients. So just before 12, Sam, I'm sure there are questions.
Sam's on mute. Very briefly, sorry, I was just going to say, what I found writing blogs, though, when I first started doing this a while ago, what it really did help me with was clarifying my thoughts, work out who I was. It was a kind of a personal development exercise, if you like, but it really was more than just writing content to the outside world. It really did help me organise my thoughts about certain topics as well, and what I thought. So just as an added point, I thought I'd share that.
Thank you, Sarah.
David, there's just a couple of questions about verifying Google profile. So people have had difficulty verifying their Google profile as they got rejected. They rejected the video to change their details when they moved home and office. Any tips?
Well, therein lies a hornet's nest. Unfortunately, trying to contact a social network is trying to find the Holy Grail. I know from experience and having worked with lots of digital agencies that sometimes Google can be horrifically slow at responding to requests. I think my only advice would be to keep hammering away at them. Google is not a good way of coming back. There may be, if there is a digital agency in your area, it may be worth reaching out to that digital agency and seeing if they can, if it's a very small favor, they might be able to do it gratis. That the digital agencies, because they're dealing with Google on a day in, day out basis, in a similar way that Sarah might be dealing with HMRC, therefore might understand things more. Similarly with Google, very often I found that digital agencies may have some sort of shortcut that the mere mortals amongst us don't.
Yeah, there's those Google garages, those drop-ins, aren't there? I think I'll try and put that on the link. They could be a good place to go. They're in major cities, though. It depends where you're based. I think that's it. I'm going to have to wrap it up now. It is 12 o'clock. I do appreciate there is a question in the chat, which is more framework related, about pricing and scalability, which we are going to be doing a lot of content around to address it. Incidentally, just going back to the event, that is exactly the type of scenario that the event will cover. As I said before, it is, Sarah will be there, applying practical business advice from experience to the scalability framework. So it's there and designed to be an interactive and useful session. But those kind of questions, I think it's Cheryl that you put in the chat, they're the kind of things that we'll be addressing in articles, content, and probably future sessions. So we will get back to you on those points.
Yeah. So just to reiterate, that is limited places only on the pre-Accountex event, and I will be available all evening. So if so I'll be talking, but also just available that full evening as well. So if anyone wanted to have a one-on-one or have a chat about business, then I'll be free in that environment too. So
great stuff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Good to see everybody again. I've really enjoyed this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.